What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I am live for this reflection video. As we know that Martin Bakole saved the day on the co-main event with Joseph Parker, which was fighting for the IBF Heavyweight Championship of the World against Danny Dubois. Danny Dubois took ill with a viral infection. We had a very nice day of boxing on top of very interesting. Jay, what's up, brother? How is everything going? Everything is going good, bro. Stinger, a fight with a rotund belly like that, something is amiss. Listen, we got to talk about something, and I have to review something with you guys. Okay, I'm gonna let enough people come in, but I have to review this video that I just saw from Hatman Strikes Back. I know he goes after promoters at times and trainers at times and managers at times, and I think he went at all of them at the same damn time, which I think is absolutely awesome and very, very interesting. Okay, so it just came across. I'm doing my slew of my own videos today, which does involve Martin McCauley, but this is a must hear. Okay. And I'm going to replay it here so you guys can check it out so we can counterpunch it and talk about it because based on what I just heard, Hatman Strikes Back is pretty much blaming the coach. And as you guys know, I did question, why did the coach stop the fight like that? Why did he, in turn, decide to pull the plug that quick? It was the second round. You had less than 30 seconds left. Okay. You didn't have much in that round left. And the coach stopped the fight. And I did really think that, I thought that was really weird. Okay. And I just saw an interview, which was probably a 20-minute interview with Radio Raheem with Seconds Out. And Martin McCauley was saying that he had his doubts about actually bringing that fight on and taking that fight because it was so short notice. And I did think something was like, okay, yeah, that's kind of like a setup. It kind of reminds me of if you guys don't know about the Ika Barabucci situation, where they got him to fight, or they scheduled him to fight uh, Tommy Morrison's son, which only has one loss. It has a high knockout percentage, and he's like 20 years younger. You know what I mean? Like, okay, well, what the hell is that about? Like, why would you put Ika Barabucci, a guy in his early 50s, against someone like that right now in his comeback fight? Like, I think that a lot of these situations are set amiss simply based on the fact that it's set up to fail. They're set up to fail you. It's a setup. It's a ruse. Okay. It's a trick. It's a bamboozle, like my mom used to say, right? So I think that if anything, how everything goes, I gotta let you guys hear this from Hatman Strikes Back because there's enough people on here to set it off. Um, so just pay attention to this. Check this out. Hatman Strikes Back. Now, I picked Joseph Parker to win this fight against Mike Coley based on the lack of prep for the big man Congo, but none of us knew exactly how little prep Bakole had. We were all just guessing at it because we're not members of his team. We didn't know exactly how bad a shape he would be in. We didn't know how much or how little sleep exactly he was going to get coming off that long haul flight, multiple planes, landed in Saudi at like 2 a.m., maybe not getting through customs and to his hotel room and actually to sleep till 4 a.m., maybe 5. Then had to get up early without sleep. I mean, he alluded to this after the fight. He said he didn't get much sleep. Not surprised, but none of us knew exactly how little he would get. None of us knew how badly the lack of sleep, the lack of prep, etc., would affect him. We knew it wouldn't be good for him. We didn't know exactly how bad. Two people who did know all along exactly how out of shape Martin Bakole was, exactly how unprepared he was, exactly what kind of state he was in. Were two people who did know. Martin Bakole himself, obviously, and Billy Nelson. Martin Bakole, as much as he comes across as a jolly giant and a nice guy, he is an absolute fool, a monumental fool. They knew exactly what state Martin Bakole was in, and they knew exactly what they were turning up to do, which was just to grab a few quid. He had a final eliminator against FA Jaguar scheduled for May. If he won that. Okay, all right. First of all, can you guys hear? Let me get a 1 for yes and a 2 for no. Let me get a 1 for yes and a 2 for no. Can you guys hear the audio clip? We hear it. Skrilla 50, you don't? Okay. Let's do this. Let's do this. All right. Now we're going to. All right. Well, let's do this. Now, I picked Joseph Parker to win this fight against Martin Bakole based on the lack of prep for the big man from Congo. But none of us knew exactly how little prep Bakole had had. We were all just guessing at it because we're not members of his team. We didn't know exactly how bad a shape he would be in. We didn't know how much or how little sleep exactly he was going to get coming off that long haul flight, multiple planes, landing in Saudi at like 2 a.m., maybe not getting through customs and to his hotel room and actually to sleep till 4 a.m., maybe 5, then having to get up early without adequate sleep. I mean, he alluded to this after the fight. He said he didn't get much sleep. Not surprised, but none of us knew exactly how little he would get, and none of us knew how badly the lack of sleep, the lack of prep, etc., would affect him. We knew it wouldn't be good for him. We didn't know exactly how bad, but there were 2 people who did know all along exactly how out of shape Martin Bakole was, exactly how unprepared he was, exactly what kind of state he was in. There were 2 people who did know. Martin Bakole himself, obviously, and Billy Nelson. Martin Bakole, as much as he comes across as a jolly giant and a nice guy, he is an absolute fool, a monumental fool. They knew exactly what state Martin Bakole was in, and they knew exactly what they were turning up to do, which was just to grab a few quid. He had a final eliminator against FA Jaguar scheduled for May. If he won that, he'd get a guaranteed shot against Daniel Dubois. He had plenty of time to prepare for that fight and get in just as good a shape, if not better, than the shape he was in for the Anderson fight. He threw that away in order to take the Parker fight for a bit more money, completely out of shape. It was a horrendous decision. And of course, Billy Nelson, as Bakole's trainer and manager, should have been trying to talk Martin Bakole out of the fight. That's what you should have been trying to do. That's what a manager in particular is employed for, to manage your career, to protect your best interests. He failed to do his job. Based upon what I've heard Martin Bakole say, at least. There's one interview which I alluded to before the fight where Martin Bakole was basically saying that he was a little hesitant for a moment when Billy Nelson called him about the fight, but Billy Nelson was kind of imploring him to take it. And Bakole said, well, your trainer is like your dad, so you can't tell your trainer no. Shame on Billy Nelson for not trying to talk his man out of the fight, for just throwing him in there, knowing how out of shape he was, knowing that he hadn't sparred since August or something, according to Nelson, throwing him in there just for the payday. Because again, Billy Nelson, as trainer and manager, gets 2 cuts out of Martin Bakole's purses. You know, I've never trusted Billy Nelson ever since the Michael Hunter fight. For those who haven't seen it or didn't catch it, Martin Bakole injured his shoulder in the late rounds of that fight. He became very distressed and wanted to quit in the corner. Billy Nelson basically forced him out and wouldn't allow him to quit. And now Billy Nelson is running around acting like he's some type of humanitarian for stopping the Parker fight. No. Let me tell you why, in my opinion, he stopped the Parker fight when he did. Because they've still got a fight in May. The Turkey Chica's guaranteed them. Perhaps against the Jaguar, it won't be an IBF final eliminator. So Billy Nelson was trying to preserve that payday. He didn't want to get Martin Bakole too badly knocked out because he wants to rinse him for a bit more cash. That's what Billy Nelson was doing by stopping the fight when he did, in my opinion. Extremely cynical behavior. And as I say, in the Michael Hunter fight, Martin Bakole wanted to quit. And Billy Nelson was like, no, you can't, Martin, you can't. Literally forcing the gum shield into his mouth. You got to get out there. And yet now he's got the audacity to say that there are too many brave cornermen out there. What about your behavior in the Michael Hunter fight, Billy? That's an example of you being a brave cornerman. If I'm in a fighter's corner and I get any hint that he wants to quit, I'm pulling the plug. I'm taking Stop right there because we got to counter what we've heard so far. I did not know Billy Nelson was the manager as well as the trainer. I know he was the trainer. I didn't know he was the manager. When you have manager and trainer, that's kind of like JD's was to Deontay Wilder. He was like the trainer, like co-trainer, co-manager type situation. Um, and that is a good point. Why would you push someone out there? Because I did hear about the injury as well Bakole had with Michael Hunter. And if you pushed him out there, now you'll go out there, keep fighting, but then yet you made such a sacrifice to go from the Congo. You made this man go from the Congo to Saudi Arabia, right? And it was a lot more involved with that. You know, he wanted to take a jet. The jets were unavailable in a war-torn country. You had to get authorization. He couldn't get authorization at night like that, so he had to take a commercial flight. Okay, that's how that went. So he had to wait till the next day. So that's what that was. All right, now he does all that, does the layover, stays, flies to a place, then flies into Saudi Arabia, doesn't really get any sleep, right? But then he gets knocked out. Now, this would have been different if this man would have been knocked out. He's rolling all around on the floor. You know what I mean? Yeah, he took a good shot he didn't see. He acted the way he's supposed to act. He acted the way he's supposed to act when you get hit with a shot you don't see, especially in the heavyweight division. You got a guy 270 pounds throwing a hand cannon at you. Of course you're going to act that way. Okay? So, yeah. So, and you're tired. You ain't got no rest. You've been sitting up in a damn small-ass commercial flight all day. It's no telling how many people were on that plane. This wasn't a private jet. This was a commercial plane. You know, the way these damn planes are flying and falling and crashing and shit, the way they're doing, it's like, wow. So it's like, okay. And it's like, all right. So at that point, you get this man over here. He takes a shot in the 12th round, in the second round. And you call off the fight, but yet you knew he had an injury before. But yet you pushed him out there. So, yeah, that's a great comparison. Why Billy? Oh, why Billy? Did you want to stop that fight yesterday so quickly? And I thought, like, wait a minute, that's some bullshit. I thought it was the referee. So I was thinking, okay, maybe this is some foul play. Maybe he was just kind of designed, got that big ass pot belly like he'd been eating, I don't know what, big as hell, out of shape. You know what I mean? Sure, he's on social media, but everybody knows about social media, right? Social media is a bunch of bullshit. Social media is something that perceives and deceives people. It's not what it really is. And it's like, okay, all right. You then stop a fight, but then it's like, okay, you stopped it, and then oh, I care for the fighter. Why didn't you stop the damn Hunter fight? Why didn't you stop that fight? AJ spotted another wounded animal. Yeah, so listen, and it's like, I look at that is absolute bullshit because yeah, he shouldn't have taken that fight. And I don't even think it was motivation for Martin Bakole. Yeah, he thought about the money that he can make, but guess who came to him with that idea? Billy Nelson, the manager. Billy Nelson came to him with that idea. And Ben Shalom, why not? Why wouldn't he come with it? None of those guys are fighting. They're not taking any blows. And then this kind of sets me off because now he's lost his ranking. So that means that, yeah, you get to fight Efe Ajagba, but it's not for a final eliminator. It's just a fight Efe Ajagba. That's bullshit. That means that now you got guys like Frank Warren. Well, I don't think he's a boogeyman at all. Okay, well, you never had your fighters against him, have you? Joe Joyce, Danny Dubois. Where's these guys been? Where have your boxers, Tyson Fury, where have your boxers been when it came to Martin Bakole? We haven't heard anything for as far as Frank Warren talking about fighting Martin Bakole. See, that type of shit there, it bothers me because I don't like injustice in the sport of boxing. I can't stand it. I can't stand when people are either money hungry or they're doing something for their own vested interest, and they're taking advantage of fighters, because I think that's what Billy Nelson was doing. Let me continue. Let's continue.
In the rap for it. I'm going to make sure that the world thinks that I'm the one responsible for throwing in the towel, but it wasn't the fighter quitting. That's my job. I'm here to protect my fighter if he wants out, if he's in distress. Protect him physically and protect his reputation, especially if I'm his manager as well as his trainer. Billy Nelson didn't protect his fighter physically against Michael Hunter, and he certainly didn't try and protect his reputation here with a Joseph Parker fight. He should have been doing everything in his power to try and dissuade Mike Bakole from taking the fight. Ultimately, the buck does stop with Bakole. He's a foolish man, very foolish, but he's got people around him who do not have his best interests at heart. And yes, you can include Ben Shalom in this. According to what people are saying, and I don't know whether this is true, this was Bakole's final fight with Ben Shalom. Again, I can't confirm whether that's true, but if it is, then I'm definitely looking at Shalom very suspiciously. This was perhaps the worst move I can ever remember from a top 10 heavyweight in living memory. Again, we didn't know exactly how bad he was going to be because we're not in his team. We were guessing at how bad he would be. But Bakole and Billy Nelson knew, and he turned out to be far worse than most of us imagined. I guess we were wishful thinking to some extent. Again, I picked Joseph Parker to win. I think I said on points due to the lack of prep for Bakole. But as soon as he was walking to the ring, I mentioned on my live stream that Bakole looks absolutely knackered. There was no life in his face. He looked tired. When your central nervous system is fatigued like that, when you're not mentally sharp through lack of sleep and lack of sparring, so on and so forth, of course it can affect your punch resistance. Mike Bakole has taken better shots than that and remained on his feet. Even in the Michael Hunter fight, he took way better shots than that. Against Jared Anderson, he took better shots than that. Against Sergey Krug, many fights Bakole has had, he's taken better shots than the one Parker hit him with. There are training camps for a reason. You get in country where you're going to fight with ample time and with ample sleep for a reason. All of these people running around saying, oh, see, Bakole was always just a hype job. This is something that casuals do. In the mind of a casual, there are only two types of fighters. Fighters who are the real deal and fighters who are hype jobs. There's no
Now listen, let me stop right there. That's exactly what Frank Warren is trying to do right now. The first person that had anything negative to say was Frank Warren. Frank Warren was like, well, I don't see the boogeyman thing at all. I don't see it. When the hell have you seen Mark Bakole fight? Better yet, when have you matched up your fighters against Martin Bakole? When has it been that you personally have taken yourself, hey, let me take Joe Joyce and put him up against Bakole. Let me take Daniel Dubois. Even when Tyson Fury, I know he's retired, but even with Tyson Fury, nobody wanted that shit. Nobody wanted that smoke at all. You know what I mean? What about Zhilei Zhang? Like, here's the thing. Where people talk for a reason. They talk in narrative intentions. They intend to spread narratives. That's why people like Frank Warren has that to say, because he wanted to spin it like, you know what? Screw all that. 2 days notice, that's not bad. Commercial jet, that's not bad. No sleep, half insomnia, that's no problem. That's not bad. This is what I'm trying to get. I haven't seen the boogeyman. Don't look like a boogeyman to me. Okay, so if he doesn't look like a boogeyman to you, right? Then that means he's not worth anything. If he's not worth anything, let's give up on him. Well, if that's the case, put him in the ring with somebody if he's less than. See, the whole idea to say someone is not what they appear to be is either for two reasons. One, you know that's a lie and you don't want to deal with him, so you're trying to discredit him. Or two, you know that's the truth, then therefore you should. Why don't you? No one should be critical of Bakole after building him up. The chances of him winning were slim. See, I just don't like the narrative that's attempting to be done. Now we have Ben Shalom, if that's his last fight with Martin Bakole. Ben Shalom was happy. He was through the roof. He was ecstatic. Like, oh yeah, that fight's done. It's just ready. It's this, is that. It's ready. And then I'm like, okay, Ben was happy. I haven't seen Ben Shalom that happy because he always looks kind of nervous, like something is always trying to go through that never comes through or gets done. But in this case, it's like, okay, well, at this point, I'm thinking to myself, like, all right, well, why are you so happy? Maybe because this is his last fight, and that's that last 20% or whatnot. You know, Kurt, Frank gets his fighters into positions. Bakole doesn't get you into that position. No, they don't. But talking about that fighter don't help you none either. So that means you should be quiet about what you think or what you haven't seen, especially when you wouldn't looking, especially when you don't want to see. That's what I'm saying. You know what I mean? If that's the case, yeah, worry about your own damn fighters. You know what I'm saying? Oh, I haven't seen it. Why? Because Bakole took that fight. I think he was not advised like he's supposed to be advised. I do think that. I think they were trying to, now I'm looking at Billy Nelson really sideways because this man, he should have, nah, man, you shouldn't take that. You know what I mean? Think about your reputation, thinking about your position. And speaking of positions where Frank gets you, right? Frank gets you in positions. You think that if that was Frank, you think he would have told Danny Dubois to jump his ass in there and fight somebody right away? No, he would have did that to Joseph Parker. He might have done it to Joe Joyce because Joe Joyce don't have nothing to lose. But somebody that was that high on the totem pole on the IBF, do you think Frank Warren would have told his fighter, hey, I think you should take this fight short notice, and you're what, number 4 in on the IBF? Fighting for the number 1 mandatory? No. But what he would do, since his fighter is the IBF champion, what could he do? Well, hey, he got beat by Joseph Parker. That's right, boy. I said that. And guess what? Parker admitted, bro, I got hurt by Bakole. And I thought he would because I thought Bakole, based on what I thought I knew. See, here's the deal. I have videos that I haven't released yet. But in those videos, Bakole was explaining, this dude ain't sparred since fucking Jermaine Franklin. And I mean, Jared Anderson. He hasn't sparred since last year. It's damn near March. This dude has not sparred. This dude is really not trained. This dude has been in the Congo. You know what I mean? So you have to really start looking at what, because Billy Nelson says he's 60%. That's a lie. So that means he wanted people to believe he was in shape and he wasn't, which I don't see, because you don't want to let off that your fighter's not in shape. If he's not in shape, you don't want to say that he's not in shape. But at the same time, he was trying to sell the idea of Martin Bakole going over there because people would see how bad of an idea it is if they know, man, he ain't really trained at all. He been in the Congo trying to build this damn mall for this city that he lives in the Congo. Yeah, because people would have been looking at that and saying, hey, you know what? Joe Joyce. But see, nobody cared about Joe Joyce, though. Nobody cared about Joe Joyce. Obviously, I guess they don't care about Martin Bakole either. That being said, Turkey Al-Sheikh has to do the right thing and not allow Dubois to fight Usyk. They can't do Parker dirty again. No, they can't do Parker dirty because Parker was just doing what they asked Parker to do. Because, see, Parker could have stepped down his damn self, finding out, like, hey, well, I'm not even getting the fight that I thought that I was going to fight, that I trained for, that I paid my trainers, my cornermen for, that I prepared for, and everything else in between. So I don't have to take this fight. Parker did anyway, just being loyal, being respectful. You know what I mean? And yeah, and he wanted the bag. He wanted to get paid too. Like everybody wants to get paid, so I get it. But that's because that's a paycheck doesn't mean it's the paycheck for you. You guys have to understand that. So I'm looking at this like, hey, if Billy Nelson did what he did to Martin Bakole, and then you see the times where he did do this and he didn't do this and he didn't do this and he did do that, you're like, okay, well, damn, Billy, wait a minute. What are you really about? Who are you really for? Are you about your fighter or are you just about Billy? because it seems like he's just about Billy, calling him up with that. And in fact, here's the thing. Most managers don't even contact their fighters if it's some bullshit like that. Think about what I'm saying. Okay. I know it's Turkey Al-Sheikh, the creme de la creme, the man that runs boxing right now. I know that. You know, damn, didn't know that. But this is what I'll say. I'll say that, like, say for example, Jay Jimenez. Is it Jay Jimenez? Yeah, Jay Jimenez is Luis Ortiz's manager. Jay Jimenez never contacted Luis Ortiz with the opportunity to fight Anthony Joshua. He turned that shit down. He was negotiating with Eddie Hearn, and Eddie Hearn was like, well, that's jacked up, you know? Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, I do think so. Where did I see that at? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, he should fire Billy Nelson and get a new boxing trainer. That's if he can. And you know who's caught up in that same bullshit right now? Jarrell Miller. Jarrell Miller's caught up in that same shit. Let's listen to the rest of this.
The idea that this version of Martin Bakole is representative of his best form, the full extent of his talent and ability, is literally the most idiotic thing, the most dumb and stupid notion you could ever imagine. Absolutely ridiculous. So all these people say, oh, see, Bakole's just a hype job. You are a flaming casual. That's what you are. If you don't understand how having no camp, taking a fight on 48 hours notice, flying halfway across the world, barely any sleep, bam, straight into a fight with a guy who's had a full camp, fully rested, fully sharp. You don't understand what a disadvantage Bakole was at? I mean, seriously, you are unbelievably stupid. Stop it. Training camps for a reason. But as I say, Bakole is a fool himself. Billy Nelson is a snake, in my opinion. It always has been. They've messed things up. Well, Bakole's messed things up for himself. Billy Nelson has assisted in messing things up for Martin Bakole so he can rinse him for money. Short-term gain for him. Now Martin Bakole goes all the way to the back of the queue. No more opportunity to be IBF mandatory. And his reputation has taken an enormous hit, obviously. Now, some people say the upside might be that now people will agree to fight him. Well, it depends. If in his next fight in May, he destroys somebody that looks good doing it, he might actually have the opposite effect. It might make it even more difficult for him to get a big fight because people are going to say, well, when the guy's in shape, he's a menace. But we saw him get sparked out by Joseph Parker, so we're going to use that as an excuse not to fight him. Pretend like he's no good. Oh, I'm going to fight Bakole. He got knocked out in 2 rounds by Parker. Who's he? You see what I'm saying? So it was a disastrous decision by Team Bakole. Anyway, those are my...
Okay, so why would anybody... Okay. First of all, why would anybody decide, lobby for that, knowing that it'll mess up their position? Like, why would he do that? Just to fight Parker and to do what? See, that didn't even make any sense. Like, it had to be for the money. And Martin Bakole should be more wary of Billy Nelson and think about Billy Nelson, because I remember in the interview yesterday, he was saying that one of the first interviews, I think it was IFL TV, and Martin Bakole was saying, he was like, I was asking Billy, why did you stop the fight? And then Billy kind of looked at him because they were on camera at the same time. They were on camera. Okay, you can't make this up. They were on camera, and Martin Bakole was asking him, well, why didn't you let me continue? Because I thought I felt fine. And Billy said, no, because, I don't want to, I don't want to get you out. And see, and the thing is, my thing is, now it makes sense what Hatman said, because how are you and why are you so worried about Martin Bakole now, as opposed to knowing that he was injured when he took his first L, okay? And Michael Hunter got at his ass. Now all of a sudden, oh, let me stop the fight because I know I can make another check out of you. See, I think that's wrong on so many levels based on the fact, I think it's been hit. I think it's been hit, but I think he knows. And I hope Martin Bakole sees these lives sees that Hatman video and understand, like, hey, that is right. Why the hell did you push me out there like I was Jock Coos damn stove and going out there like a kamikaze before? Now, all of a sudden, you care about if I'm injured or did I get hurt or not. Hell, I got on my feet. I got in the corner, and then you threw in the towel. You threw in the towel because you seen a quick buck, and that's what you wanted me to do. That's what you needed me for. You wanted to get money. You didn't care about my legacy. You didn't care about my reputation. You didn't care about my rankings. You didn't care about any of that shit. What you wanted is you wanted a quick buck being the manager, and you get paid 2 times for being a trainer and a fucking manager. That's why he did that. That's exactly why he did that. That's why he should leave Billy. That vested interest and all that bullshit with the manager and trainer, that's some bullshit anyway. Get someone that doesn't have anything to do with your training ability. But since you do train them and you do manage them, you should know where that fighter is on both sides of the spectrum. And since you know that, you should be more weary of that fighter. But he wasn't weary of him before. See, I don't like any of that bullshit. And then when it happened, I'm sitting there thinking to myself, you know what? That's some bullshit right there. And due to the fact you got this man, drug him to another fucking country, drug him from the Congo, this continent of Africa, flew from Africa to come over here. He gets hit. Sure, he went, he fell. Of course he fell. He didn't see the shot. But he got up and he said, well, I feel good. And I do think Martin Bakole, he calls himself a businessman. Let's talk about him for a second. Obviously, you don't know what business is, or obviously you have bad business judgment. You are trusting the wrong people, trusting the wrong person. Zvit Von Lit. Kurt, you were talking Bakole up the other day and now bagging him. Keep it real. One day, notice 10-hour flight. Dubois chickened out to Usyk fight. This whole fight was staged and set up. Maybe it was staged and set up. You know what I mean? You don't really know how that was because Billy called Martin Bakole. Martin Bakole is just not only the trainer. If he was the trainer, he might have a little bit more integrity. Since he's the trainer and the manager, he has to talk and he has access to business situation. They might have offered him extra to get Bakole to agree to it, which Bakole may not know anything about. Okay, so keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. So I think what they've done, I think they screwed over Bakole, and that was the worst decision you could have ever done. And because of that, you advised me to take a fight that I lose my position. So if I fight Efe Ajagba, it won't matter. That means everything I've been fighting for is gone. Oh, they promised me 2 fights. What fucking difference does it make? It's not for a title. Daniel Dubois used to be sick ass is going to fight Usyk because Usyk says so. What does Joseph Parker do? Another unfair situation. Where does he go? Back home? That's what I'm not understanding about this whole thing. You got Usyk there. You got Joshua there. They're like fucking pen pals that met each other for the first time. They're high-fiving and fist-bumping, whereas you have Daniel Dubois. Now he has a fight now because Frank, that's the first thing Frank said. Yo, bring him on. Yo, I want to see that fight. And see, understand, I don't think that Daniel Dubois or Frank Warren that manages or promotes Daniel Dubois wanted him to fight Joseph Parker. And I think seeing Joseph Parker, knowing, hey, this could be a potential banana peel. Maybe they knew that Alexander Usyk already wanted to fight Daniel Dubois because he mentioned it before. He already mentioned becoming double undisputed. Who said it? Alex Krusuk, the manager of Alexander Usyk, already said that, right? 2 or 3 weeks ago. He said, I know that Alexander Usyk wants to be double undisputed. Remember this. So I think that shit went into play then. They just trying to figure out a way, how can we keep Daniel from getting in the ring with Joseph Parker because Turkey Al-Sheikh expects us to fucking deliver. How do we get out of that? Okay, Kurt, is it confirmed that Bakole's mandatory position is gone? Here we go. Actually, it is because he did say he went from 5 to 14. Let's check the rankings right now. The IBF heavyweight rankings. Okay. Champion Danny Dubois in the IBF. Okay. Now look at this. This confirms it. Number 1, not rated. Number 2, not rated. It says, well, no, hold on a second. Now it still shows that Mark Bakole is still number 3 in front of Frank Sanchez number 4. Now, according to according to Mark Bakole said that it went down. So let's see. Let's check. Let's check another one. I hope that's what it is, but I don't know what he was looking at because that's what it said. Hold on. Let me check. Let me check. Because that's crazy though. All right. Let's see. Well, let's look up Martin Bakole himself because I mean that was just yesterday, so we can look at the rankings right now. Uh, okay. Let's see. And now it says rank number 15 here. Um, damn. Yeah, number 15, Mark McCauley. He's behind Derek Chisora. In front of Derek Chisora is Dillian White, then Justice Hooney, then Efe Ajagba, which is number 11, then Michael Hunter, then Fabio Wardley, then Murat Gassiev, then Lawrence Akali, which was also going to be that person that was in. Then Tyson Fury, I don't even know why he's still there. Anthony Joshua, number 5, Joseph Parker, number 4, I get Caballero number 2, Danny Dubois number 2, and Usyk number 1. So that doesn't make sense. No, this is not even because Danny Dubois is well, this is box rec. So let's get this shit right. Let's see. Let's see rankings. I get will destroy Parker. That would be a good fight though, bro. I mean, I kind of here's my thing. Joseph Parker has already fought. Okay, he's already fought. I'm not mad at Joseph. I'm not. Why would I be mad at Joseph? That's not the point. I'm mad at the situation. I'm mad at the setup, the people that set this into motion. Joseph Parker, is a guy. Yet this guy has fought Deontay Wilder. He's fought Zilli Zhang. He's fought Martin McCauley, and he's won all 3 of these fights against 3 top quality fighters. You know, okay, so this just shows. Yeah, none of these are up to date though. I need something current. Let's see. Because it's not I'm really disappointed in I'm disappointed in BoxRec because BoxRec's supposed to be on their shit. Let's see. What's all the conspiracy talk? No. Billy Nelson did something that was too strange for me yesterday, and I wanted to talk about that. He stopped the fight. He stopped the fight. It wasn't the ref. The ref seen the towel because Billy Nelson threw in the towel and stopped it, waved it off. Yeah, I seen that big door stop. Yeah, we'll talk about that for a second. T.O. and Terrence Crawford. I have to, promote more of Terrence because I like Terrence. I like that whole situation. I just wish they would fight more. I just wish fighters in a smaller weight class would actually fight more so we can talk about more. Because all we're getting heavyweights, we're getting light heavyweights, we're getting cruiserweights, and all these guys are doing their thing except these cats. See what I mean? They're not really doing as much. The first smaller fight, like we seen for smaller dudes, you had Madrimov, then you had Ortiz. So you had Madrimov and Ortiz. But before that, it was like too far in between. Whereas heavyweights, light heavyweights, they're getting their shit on. They're fighting, they're scrapping. You know, yeah. I mean, it was just too sketchy for me because it's like, why were you so comfortable stopping the fight from your fighter being a manager and a trainer, where you couldn't do that shit when Michael Hunter was bouncing in and out looking like a black Alexander Usyk, and then he was telling you, I got an injured shoulder. If I got an injured shoulder, but you let this shit go on, you're pushing me out there. Where was the push yesterday? Where was the hey? If anything, it should be reversed, right? Okay, think about it. You made a sacrifice to go thousands of miles to fight someone the same damn day. So it should be more of a sacrifice. Like, look, you got to dig deep. We ain't come over here for nothing. We ain't come over here for a check. You know what I mean? If we didn't come over here for nothing, if we didn't come over here only for a check, I'm going to help you and coach you through this fight to get to victory. Not stop it as soon as the shit goes belly up or it tends to go the way it's not meant to go. It was almost like, oh, you're hurt, throw in the towel. That to me sound like he was just trying to get another payday because he did not want his fighter to get banged up. But that was not because he cared for his fighter. It was because he wanted another check. He wanted another two checks because a manager gets a side or a portion and a trainer gets a portion. So he had to pay him twice. So he was thinking about those other two checks. The one he got last night for being a manager and a trainer, and the other two that he'll get in May. But what does it do to Martin Bakole? It snatches his rankings away. It's crazy. Bakole looked slow. That dude was slow. Jay Roos, he was slow. He was fat. He was tired. That dude looked dry. Remember, I seen it. You wasn't there, Jay Roos, but I saw it. I was like, dude, man, this dude really looks dry. He really looks dry, dude. You know what I mean? This cat looks dry. This cat looks like, damn. Did he just wake up? And he said, man, I was sleeping in the dressing room. That's some sad shit. You brought this man way over there. Maybe Billy just felt sorry for him when he got there. Let's be subjective positively. Maybe he's seen him like, man, Martin tired as hell. This dude been on a commercial flight. I bet you that flight was musty. You know what I mean? Did you wash your ass before you get on the flight? You know? Yeah, man. I told you, like, dude, that's dry. That ain't a good thing. You dry in a fight like that. Then you got old slippery ass, wet, sweaty ass Joseph Parker over there. I am ready to go. Manatalua. Manatalua. He ready to get it in. 270 pounds. A happy fat. You know he have a baby every time he get a go home. So every time he have a baby, he gonna gain 10 pounds. People know what it's like. if you have a child. Ain't that right, Jay Roos? You're going to gain some weight. You're just going to gain some weight. You're going to come back bigger, thicker. Chisora said he ain't getting on no plane he can't pronounce. Well, I mean, it is what it is. Where is Wilder in the rankings? I have no idea. That's a good question. Where is Wilder in the rankings? Let's see where is Wilder. Deontay Wilder's rankings. All right, let's see. Rank number 6. Okay, number 6 from what? Rank number 7. Okay, all right. Okay, is this an American thing? Because that's all I see is Americans. Usyk versus Parker, Caballero versus Dubois. Who won? Usyk versus Parker, Caballero versus Dubois. I think it should go exactly like that. I think it should go exactly like that. I think Usyk should fight Parker. Parker called him out kind of like nice. You know what I mean? Because Parker's a nice dude. He likes to sing and do fiestas, and Parker likes to party. That's why. Listen, Parker's an island boy. He likes to party. You know anybody from South Pacific Islanders, Micronesia, Polynesia, they like to party, bro. They have fiestas, they drink. They, if you guys know, if you guys know, If you don't, that's how they do it. They party. You know what I mean? So Caballero beats Triple D. It would be that would probably be a fight of the year because see, Triple D knows how to block and he knows how to fight mid-range. You know what I mean? So he knows how to fight mid-range to outside. You know what I mean? Caballero is an inside to mid-range fighter. That inside to mid-range type fighter like Caballero, I'm about to look at that shit again. Because the beautiful body work he put on Zhang, he broke Zhang ass down just like any other those other fighters, just like Frank Sanchez, just like Mark Madoff. Mark Madoff didn't have a chance. Mark Madoff looked like he didn't belong there. He looked like he didn't belong there. You know what I mean? But just so many things. You know what I'm saying, Ricky. If you know what I'm saying, if you're from New Zealand, you know what fiestas are. Guam, New Zealand, Polynesia, Micronesia, Marshall Islands, Tonga, Saipan, Truckanese, Saipanese, Japanese. Yeah, like what the hell are you talking about? I'm talking about islands in the South Pacific, bro. They like to party. That's what they do. Kurt, Andy Ruiz versus Aget Caballero would be a good boxing match. Andy Ruiz versus Aget Caballero would be very good. I see Caballero. I don't know because see, Andy is a good counterpuncher, a very good counterpuncher. Kurt D, they're saying that Canelo versus Crawford might be in May of 26. Wow, that's crazy. Ghetto Tech. I'm Polynesian. I like fishing and seafood, barbecues and beers. Absolutely. So you like fiestas. Exactly. That's what they like. That's what you know. That's why you know. Ghetto Tech. Counterpunch to you. So yeah, it is what it is with that. But they screwed over, man. Billy screwed over Bakole. Bakole needs to get somebody else, man. He needs to get rid of Billy Nelson. And what's sad, Billy has got so close to Bakole. I ain't calling no grown man daddy. What the fuck I look like, did he? The only person I daddy? No, I'm not calling. I don't call my. Come on now. No, I'm not calling no grown man dad. That ain't my father. Kurt, we all said that Parker's weight would give him issues. Now I think his weight was probably the best to be the weight that gives chance of opponents weight if it was Danny Dubois. I was saying that. I was, because I know it was 100% Nikki. It was 100% experimental. You know what I mean? It was like something that they probably tried, like, let's put on a couple weights because we know and we've seen what Daniel done to AJ. and we don't want to be that way, and we want to be ready for somebody like that. And AJ, punches a little harder. And I think these guys are so insecure about their punching ability. Like if you have to gain weight or you have to take your ass like AJ and gotta just lift weights all the time to secure or make you feel secure about your punching power, something's wrong because it shouldn't take all that. I know prep is one thing, but I also know your punching power, the way you deliver punches is totally something totally different. Look at Martin Bakole. Does this dude look like a bodybuilder? Does this dude look like he even goes to the gym? No, he don't. He looked like somebody that is a bouncer. He looked like he bounced with Hatman in front of some damn bar or club or something. But he don't look like a dude that goes to the gym like that. He looks like a big ass dude, naturally built like that. That did security or something. But he didn't look like he's this gym rat. Kurt, how much was Bakole paid to fight Parker? I want to say $3 million, Jose. I'm not really sure. This is the second time Dubois has ducked Parker. Bakole probably took a dive for a quick payday. I don't think he didn't take a dive. I think what happened, I think it was meant for Bakole, because boxing is fickle like that. I think Bakole got himself in a situation where it was lose-lose. Anyway, he did take a chance. I mean, ultimately, though, here's the real. No grown man can really tell you what to do. Billy Nelson didn't make him do a damn thing, but it was persuaded. It's like Turkey didn't make Jared Anderson take that Bakole fight. Bob Arum didn't even really want to take the fight. Now I'm hearing Bakole really didn't even want to take the fight. That being said, so it is what it is in that regard. So, but no, I have 3 videos that I haven't came out. I just wanted to go live with you guys because I wanted you guys to listen to that live stream because I don't see it says he's number 3. But Bakole said that, hey, I checked and I'm number 14 now. So if that's the case, they messed that man all the way up. So you know what that means? People won't fight him because they don't have to, because there's no reason to. He's not ranked anywhere. He's nowhere in the top 10 because you know how it is. If you are a guy looking for a mandatory, you don't have to fight anyone other than the people that are in the top 10. So if you were in the top 3, you went from 3 or 4 to 14. That means they don't have to fight you at all, and they can justify that not fighting you. We don't have to fight Bakole. He's ranked number 14. He's not even ranked in the top 10, so we don't have to fight him. So I know what that shit was about. And Billy Nelson, look, here's the thing, man. You have to be careful of people that really secretly don't give a shit about you. And I'm convinced that Billy may be one of those people based on his actions, based on what he didn't do last time, based on what he did this time. You didn't stop the fight in this year with an injured fighter that you trained, but then yet you were quick to stop this fight when you knew he had another fight in a couple months. You stopped it though, because you wanted more of that money. Kurt, Bakole and Parker saved the card. They did. They did save the card, but here's the deal. That fight could have been better because no one knew what could have happened. Parker was surprised that he did that. And then Parker admitted, like, listen, this guy hurt me. You guys didn't see Parker's nose bleeding already in the second round? Because he already had got caught with one of those uppercuts because Bakole has caught him before. This is what Bakole has done. He looks at these fighters that he sparred. He picks up on their habits. He knows what they do. He knows how they fight. You know what I mean? But that's anybody you spar with. Like my homeboy, I spar with him all the time. I'm pretty much knowing what he's going to do most of the time. You only have so many tricks in the bag, people. You know what I'm saying? So what Bakole does, he used all of those sparring sessions as reminders and barometers to say, hey, I know what he does. I know what he can do. It's just shitty that Billy didn't even give him an opportunity because he was only thinking about Billy. He wasn't thinking about Martin. He was thinking about Billy. Like, wait a minute. If he gets hurt, I ain't getting paid again and then again because he's a manager and then a trainer too. You know, that's all that was. He was paid because he didn't want Bakole going into a fight that he probably still could have won. Now, if he was laid out cold, rolling around on the floor, that's obvious. But this guy got up, and I'm like, he dropped Bakole. And I'm thinking to myself, oh shit. And then Bakole got up, and then he threw in the towel like that. I didn't like the way he did it. That was just too shady to me. Like something else was about. Yeah, I agree with you on that, Jose Chavez. Bro, Callum Smith. Bro, Callum Smith knocked out Joshua Buatsi's mouthpiece twice at the beginning of that fight and at the end of that fight. Nobody got dropped, but you know, he was hurt. Like, look, Buatsi was hurt, bro. Those left hooks were hurting, man. Bakole was still wobbly after the 10 count. Ghetto Tech, he was. But understand, if you are a trainer, and that's the reason why that could have happened, Ghetto Tech. That could have happened with Joshua. When Dubois caught Joshua in the first round, Joshua was still. Now, did they want to stop it? Hell no, they didn't want to stop it. Why? Because they wanted and they believed in their fighter. Nah, Parker ain't overrated. Parker's underrated. Parker's always been underrated for a long time. And let me tell you guys something about Parker for a minute. I think the worst thing Parker could have ever done was beat Andy Ruiz. Because after that, I mean, yeah, he got the Joshua fight, but then I think Parker he beat Ruiz on points. Then he goes and he fights Joshua for a unification. Okay. They didn't let Parker fight like he wanted to fight. The referee made it so inconvenient for his style or for his game plan that I don't think he could get anything going. Think about what I'm saying. Like, Parker likes to fight on the inside. Joshua don't. They made that fight Joshua friendly. They refereed that fight Joshua friendly, not Parker friendly. Like, have you guys seen Callum Smith and Buatsi yesterday? How the ref every little fucking clinch, and they were still just trying to work it out because they were still going at it. They were head to head and they were working on the inside, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, here comes that fucking ref pushing them. You know what I mean? Grabbing on the boobs and shit, their man boobs, touching them and shoving them apart. You know what I mean? You think that was, bro, that was probably orchestrated because Callum Smith was doing better on the inside and Buatsi was not. And you know Callum Smith was who versus Buatsi was who. Buatsi, that was a whole different promoter. Can't hear a thing. Pump up your volume. Can everybody hear me? Can anybody hear me? Is this just some people sometimes just talk just like they have a mouth, just saying reckless. Safety for the fighter, Bakole, he was just to call up the heavyweight division. Well, here's the thing. Now he ain't. Now he's not. So let's hope that's not the case. James Bash coming in with that cash. Peace, Kurt. Great night of boxing. Great work with the commentary. Knowing Bivol's ex is pissed off is enough reason to celebrate Bivol's victory. Amen and hallelujah. And actually, you made me remember. I did a video like 2 in the morning, I went to like Whataburger like 3 in the morning, and I did one on her. And I'm thinking, like, the question is like, where's she been? So All right, good deal. Good deal. You guys can hear me, so I don't know what's going on with him. Maybe you need to send your volume up or something. Kurt, who would win, David Tua versus Joseph Parker? That's a difficult fight based on Joseph Parker knows how to avoid bigger fighters now. I mean, not all the time, but then again, see, here's the thing about David Tua. If David Tua hits you, David Tua's gonna finish you. It's just David Tua's not. For one, he gained too much weight, and maybe just maybe I'm biased because I was a huge David Tua fan. You know what I mean? Like when it comes to island people, I'm impartial. Cubans in particular, Caribbean in particular. You know, but island people, Macronesian, Tongans, you know, guys like that, I'm very impartial. I do follow those cats. I do like man, I was a David Tua fan, the Tua man, the Terminator, the throwing Samoan. I was a David Tua fan, bro. And the thing is like Islanders, you know what I mean? I like it's just I gravitate to them, right? So it's like because you know what I mean? Like I like when I seen David Tua from 1997 to 2000, and this man gained 30 pounds, because David Tua was about 222, 223 pounds. He went from that to 252 pounds, 253 pounds. He's 5'10". So if anybody's 5'10" and you gain 30 pounds of whatever the hell, you're going to be slower. Yeah, David Tua was a beast in his prime. If David Tua hit you with that left hook, it was over with for you. That dude would, and he would go and get into these fights with David Izon and uh, Danielle Nicholson and Chris Bird and Ika Barabucci and Hasim Rahman and dude, the list goes on. Um, that he fought these guys, and these guys were like giving him problems, but he was so slow to the point where like he wasn't a Mike Tyson. He could have once upon a time been potential. Like he could have, I think if he would have trained with Mike Tyson, he would have learned to be a lot quicker and his movement would have completed his frame. Because Tua, again, 5'9", 5'10", big ass calves, bigger than my head. He has foundation. That's why he really didn't. He only got dropped by Hasim Rahman in the third fight. That was the only time he ever got dropped, and it was more like a balance shot because it was the very end of the fight. Then they ruled that a draw, right? First fight he won due to a technicality. He hit. I remember that like it was yesterday. I've saw that fight so many times. Him and Hasim Rahman. Hasim Rahman, I think, was 24-0 or 18-0, and David Tua was like 27-1 because he had fought Ika Barabucci by that time. The main card was Floyd Pretty Boy Mayweather versus Angel Manfredi. I remember the whole card because it was a boxing after dark card in 1997 because I was a junior in high school going into a senior, and those were the fights that were going on at the time, and it was for the number one for Lennox Lewis's title, but Lennox Lewis I don't think had that title yet because he had to do a unification with Holyfield, which the first time they robbed Lennox Lewis and then they fought again. Of course, then he became the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world. Then he fights David Tua in 2020, late 2020. Okay, but Tua had gained so much weight, he wasn't the same person at that time. Okay, so that's a backstory about David Tua, what was going on, what the fight card was, boxing after dark, and David Tua would get into these long drawn out fights where you're like, dude, David, hit him already. You're killing us. And then he would finally land, boom, oh, you lose your mind, and then he hits him, catches him with that left hook, and then saves the day. But yeah, Usyk had already beat Dubois. That's why I'm not really into or not really caring about redos. You know, like Here's my thing. I want to be excited. Excited about new news, about boxing news, about new blood, about guys that show interest. How do they show interest necessarily? They beat the guy that we're interested in. Let's just hope they're interesting because the other guy that we were interested in was interesting. Like Joshua, say what you want. Joshua was quite interesting. Daniel Dubois, unfortunately, really is not. You know what I mean? He's a hell of a fighter. He's a hell of a fighter, but he's not really interesting. Walks around with flip phones and shit like that. Dad blowing black magic on his ass, making him sick. You know what I mean? Usyk is already training. He's ready for anything that comes his way. That's why I love him, and he's got a great team. Not like those other stooges. You are so right about that, though. I agree with you. I agree with you. Yeah, Mohammed Rehan. That David Tua versus John Ruiz KO. It was scary because David hit him so hard. You see these punches that you see swing and they miss the opponent. Some of those actually land. Those are like bombs that had bad intentions on them. Those are like bullets that never hit the target, but the way they were projected out of the origin were very dangerous. If they hit the target, they could be deadly. Punches are the same way. Unfortunately, for John the Quiet Man Ruiz, that punch had his name on it. And if he would have avoided that punch, that was a punch he would have avoided, but he did not. Tua dropped after the bell. Black magic is what we're calling the STD. That I guess, man. You know, Ghetto Tech. Usyk don't want to fight Parker. I don't think he does. I don't think he does. I would like to see it though. See, if things would have went the way they supposed to go, if Daniel Dubois would have actually fought Parker, and then Parker would have shocked everybody, possibly, then Usyk would have fought the winner. He was there to see who the winner was going to be. But they thought Parker was going to be the winner, so I don't really believe that that's the case. AJ is only interested because he has a bodybuilder physique. Has the personality of a brick wall, which is why Eddie Hearn does most of his interviews for him. Well, I say he would have more personality than Danny Dubois. Danny Dubois is just a quiet guy, though. He's just quiet. Joe Joyce is quiet, Just Joe, I think's. I don't know. I don't want to say that because that might not be true. I hope it's not true. That's why I'm not saying it. Caballel is Usyk's worst matchup possible. Caballel is a bad matchup for a lot of people. Somebody like someone dangerous like Wilder. Yeah, that would be pretty good for style like him. It's only mentioned because the bug eye got together with Usyk's team days before the Parker fight. Corrupt as F. Monty Barrett dropped Tua towards the end of his career. Monty Barrett, I remember him. Oh, I remember him. And you know something crazy? David Tua is still fighting like a straight savage. He's still training like a savage. I heard he was like sleeping in his car at one point. I was like, damn, Caballero can fight. Very impressive. Yeah, he's a very impressive cat. Why isn't AJ calling out Parker? He can take him easy. Can he? Can he? But no. I hate what happened to Mark Bakole. I hope it's not true that he's dropped ranks. I hope that the IBF is still for that particular position. But no, I just wanted to reach out to you guys, experience the reflections with you. I had a great time yesterday. 8-hour live stream. I think that's a record. I think that's a record. Right? It's definitely a record of this year. 8 hours, people. So I did a whole shift. hosting the fights, counterpunching, great times. I'm gonna jump off of here because I have some videos to post to you guys. So stay tuned for those. Have a blessed Sunday. See you guys Monday with another live stream. Of course, please subscribe. And everyone has been counterpunched. Peace.